What is meat? What is meta? What is the most meta deck that one can play in Wargame, where I drag in the best of the best, the most meta-ish of the meta? I went on a mission to find out. So first, I went to the general population, asking the handy-dandy Wargame general chat what was the best meta deck. But I didn't exactly get a solid response. I ended up asking some expert wargame players what their opinion of the best meta deck was. I got some varied responses once again, but I think I started to narrow it down. Now the challenge is to actually play a fair match to find out which deck is best. I originally thought the best idea was to get the top two wargame players to pit it out against each other using the meta decks. But, I realise that, well, one of them is going to be better than the other. The major problem is that if you have two players playing against each other, you've got a lot of small things playing into factor about maybe one player is better than the other, maybe one player has a better connection, or latency, or fancy bouncy keyboard, and I needed the most sterile testing environment. And then it hit me, and that is bots, because you see, bots are exactly the same. They think alike, they eat the same metal, and they play the same game. And so I loaded up a lobby with a bunch of bots. And what better map is there to test out this theory, to see which side is better than the other without any asymmetrical balance coming into play. And so we are going to be testing on good old-fashioned Death Row. So I loaded up the lobby, and for Blue 4 they are going to be entirely Israel, and for Red 4 entirely Entente. They may be thinking, well, Rang, you're going to have to be in the match too, because you can't start a bot match without some sort of player in it. And to make things not confusing for the bots so they don't mistake me for a real player, I made sure to disguise my username as them, so they don't exactly think I'm an intruder. Also as well, I made sure that the 4-man team was all on hard, and the 3-man team with me as well was on very hard, because you see 4 hards equal 3 very hards, like 2 mediums equal 1 hard, 3 easies equal hard, and a hard plus a medium equals a medium between very hard and hard. And also, we are going to be playing this on everyone's favourite game mode, Destruction, because really at the end of the day, it comes about to your KD ratio, not actual map control or any of that nonsense. So I reloaded up and got the game started. I made sure to move my CV all the way into the corner, so I am playing absolutely no effect into the match. And both teams ended up sending their conga lanes out at the start to get the match rolling. Rather standard ground play. Amazingly, the bots didn't decide to helicopter rush. The initial fight for the town was rather smoky, as both sides got their tanks and infantry into the town centre. It was an absolute grind as smoke completely covered the city. No one could see anyone. Units were spread in and out between one another, trying to find the enemy. Eventually though, Yugoslavia managed to kick the Israeli team out of the town, forcing them to fight around the outskirts. The Israelis, determined to keep up the fight, managed to get a huge counterattack to retake the town, sending the curvers and infantry barreling in just like it was 1973. They kept up the pressure, slowly but surely kicking Yugoslavia completely out of the town and pushing them all the way into the opposite forest. But it wasn't looking good for Israel, as the clock was ticking and time was running out. So they ended up doing one last major counter push into the close side forest with a bunch of infantry to try and knock out the remnants of the Yugoslavian retreat. Yet the match ended and Entente won, because they got a better KD ratio, because we were playing Destruction after all. So, after this scientific experiment, we can conclude that the best 3 decks from Wargame, number 1, being Entente, well really Yugoslavia, number 2, being Israel, and number 3 being France. The reason France is number 3 is because the thing is Yugoslavia and Israel both share a common connection. They both share the Mediterranean Sea. What other deck in Wargame shares the Mediterranean? France. So, too long didn't watch, delete all your decks, just stick with Entente.